So unless you've been living under a rock, you know that getting a GPU, sometimes RAM and CPUs in the recent 2 years has been a hurdle. CPUs are now available for the most part, however GPUs are still a struggle to get with all the scalpers and crypto miners snagging them up as soon as they come available. And this has led to insane inflation of the price of GPUs, with them costing sometimes 2 to 4 times their MSRP. Luckily though, we have heroes such as NZXT Build who sell pre-built PCs at MSRP. They charge a $99 bill feed and they supply 2-year warranty on the machine, on the parts. And so today in the IT Guy studio, we have this, which is a build PC that I purchased from them about a month and a half ago, something like that. And so I placed this order on a Wednesday in November. It shipped on a Saturday, and I received it the following week. And this is actually quite fast considering that earlier in the year, it was taking up to 6 weeks or more to get a PC from them. So this is a lot better in terms of that. Now, it could be longer, of course, due to right now, around the holidays and stuff. So let's go over the specs. And so the specs for this machine, it's quite high end. There wasn't really, anything holding it back. But it's got a Ryzen 9 5900X, 12 core, 24 thread CPU. It's got an EVGA RTX 3080 XT Ultra LHR. It's got an ASUS X570E motherboard, EVGA 850 watt Go power supply, Seagate Barracuda, 32 gigs of G.Skill Trident Z, RAM, and X73 360 millimeter AIO, all wrapped up in the H710i case. And so this is a beast, but it looks pretty too. And so when you make an order from Build, the BLD service like this one, you get to choose your parts from a selection of available parts. And so they have, 5 to 6 motherboards that you can choose, 5 or 6 GPUs, you got different CPU SKUs, you can choose one of each of their cases, a cooler, RAM, etc. And so while you can't just tell them what you want, like you can't go and say, hey, I want this motherboard and that, you get to choose from a couple of offerings, and they're each at a different price point, which is pretty neat. And so you could save some cash on everything and just pick a higher end GPU or vice versa. And so you can really use it to sort of fit your budget and what it is that you want to get. And so the build quality on this machine, of course, is excellent. The cable management is top notch, and it's a joy to look at, honestly. I mean, this machine, it's fun to look at and it's fun to game on. So that's, that's a plus. Woohoo! And so this comes, like I said, with a 2-year warranty on the PC, in which you can either send back the parts or you can send back the whole PC. I was assured by an NZXT support agent that I spoke with that the warranty also covers shipping to and from NZXT in case of a warranty claim. Take that with a grain of salt though. He could have told me whatever he wanted. I'm not sure if it's true. And so let's talk performance. That's what you all really want to hear about. That's what you're here for. It's like, how can I get some performance, man? And so for editing and rendering videos using Adobe Premiere Pro, I was able to edit a 13.5 minute 4K video that had effects, audio enhancements, B-rolls, graphics, etc. in 6 minutes and 59 seconds. So that's not too shabby. It's about 50% of the video length, which is pretty good, especially if you're a small-time YouTuber or someone who just does this on the side, or you're doing video editing as a hobby or whatever. This is way more than enough power than you need to do Premiere Pro and stuff like that. And so in gaming, which I know is what you really want to hear, you don't want to hear anything else, you want to hear about the games, the PC did pretty well. And there are actually some video clips, I believe. And so in Halo Infinite at Ultra settings, 1440p, I got 77 FPS average during the campaign, which isn't as good as I'd hoped, but Halo is new, and there's a ton of explosions and enemies and things like that. In Battlefield 2042, aka Junkzilla 2042, At 1440p max settings, I got 75 to 85 FPS during a game of Breakthrough, which was decent and was playable. You know, however, if you took the time, dial in some settings and use DLSS, you can get that 120, 144 FPS stable, you know, if you want the high refresh rate monitor, if you have one, at least, like I do. And so the last game tested is COD Vanguard, and it was at max settings at 1440p, and I was able to get between 95 and 110 FPS in a match on the map Shipment, and this was with bombs and grenades and kill streaks and just everything going buck wild. I mean, there was just everything was happening on that screen. There wasn't any lagging or stuttering, and that's a win. And so if you also dial in some of the settings or use DLS or whatever, you can get that 144 hertz at 1440p, easy peasy, you know, super, super chill. And so the reason I chose those three games instead of going through like this vast assortment is they really anticipate, or they represent the largest and most anticipated games currently out or this quarter, you know, and also all three of these games have been released in Q4 of 2021. So they're, you know, the newest and the greatest and shiniest and whatever. And so next is temps, which if you know anything about NZXT cases like this one, they are not known for their high airflow. They're not known for their cool temps. They choose form over functionality. It needs to look good, not perform great. But all that being said, though, during a Cinebench stress test, the Ryzen 5 5900X, it reached an average of 75C with an all-core of 4.6 gigahertz with the 360mm AIO, which isn't bad, but it was pretty loud. In games, it never went above 63 degrees Celsius, which is more of a real-world scenario. So, you know, it's still quite loud, though. And it would hit 4.6 gigahertz as well while rendering videos, which is pretty cool. And so the GPU, while gaming, it hit 64 degrees Celsius with a boost clock of 1965 megahertz. So not too shabby in terms of temps for a case that really isn't known for its cooling capacity. So that's pretty good. It is a little loud, though. You can always upgrade the fans to get better performance. In conclusion, the NZXT Build PC is a great machine that comes at a decent price when the GPU alone would cost as much as 2/3 of the total PC cost. And so if you're in the market, I don't really think you can go wrong. Know, however, though, that the NZXT Build, they're not known for their excellent customer support and that you are taking a chance for some pretty bad service. Like, they're not known for their customer service, so know that going into this. But it may be a risk worth taking if you can't snag a GPU in the wild. And so all that being said, though, this has been my review of this. It's been an excellent gaming machine. It's been a joy to work with. It's a beast. It looks good. It does everything it needs to. So if you like this video, leave a like. Give me a comment. Let me know what your experience is with NZXT. If this is a machine that you build, if there's any parts that maybe you would have changed or whatever that you could have done. Also, if you haven't yet, go ahead and subscribe. It really helps me to make these sorts of videos. So it gives me a good indication that people are liking the content and things of that nature. So I really do appreciate it. Have a great holiday season. And as always, keep it real.